So, in the time I've been watching horror, there have been a number of films that I don't think I'm ever going to get out of my mind ever. I would do anything to go back and not watch them. So I thought I'd go through some of my favourites, or if anything, some of my least favourites. We're going to start off with The Girl Next Door. I'm aware there's going to be people that hear that name and think, there is a lot worse. And there is a lot worse. And there was just something about how dark this film is that I don't think I'm going to watch it again. So, the film's about two sisters, Meg and Susan, and they become orphans after there's like a car accident with their parents, and they basically go to live with their aunt. And when I say aunt, I mean completely unstable, terrifying, mindfucked aunt called Ruth.
You just think about that.
Basically, Ruth has some sort of problem with Meg. Ruth almost envies her for having that young look and for having that young life and kind of having that freedom of being young. And when I say really envy, like, I'm sure people get jealous of people. I don't know many people that get jealous to the point of like fucking branding and whipping a fucker. To put a long story short, Ruth absolutely tortures Meg. There is not many, and when I say not many, there's not any happy parts of this film. I can't believe I was going to try and think of a happy part. There is no happy part of this film.
What are you doing, bitch?
And I wrote a few things down that, in my opinion, is what made the film so unwatchable again. The first part is the branding scene. As you can probably tell from the sound of that, there is a scene where Meg gets branded by the aunt with a blowtorch, and it's the most unhygienic shit you've ever seen, and it's just very dark and yeah, not great. And there is a scene as well where Ruth gets one of the boys to, I don't know what I can say without getting like this video taken down. Ruth gets one of the boys to do some fucked up shit. All the other boys are there like watching. It's a hard watch, and I think it's hard considering they're all kids, which just makes it weirder to see. It is one of the most feel bad films you will see. And on top of that, one of the big things that after watching this I realised I'm never watching that shit again. It is all based on a true story. I'm not going to get into that much. If you want to see a video on that, I will push myself to watch it again to do that. Anyway, next up we've got a film, quite an infamous film. I feel like a lot of people are going to know this film. We've got Tusk. Now, if you've not heard of Tusk, it's basically about a guy or two guys that own a podcast. To put a long story short, the podcaster finds a guy that is willing to do an interview, and we find out the guy that he is interviewing had a big thing where what he used to do, and he had like a walrus that he used to love called Mr. Tusk. I don't really know.
It'll be alright, Mr. Tusk.
He gives the podcaster guy a tea, drugs the tea. Next thing you know, he's waking up as like half a walrus, and he's having all these surgeries going on, and he's been basically kidnapped to be turned into a walrus. I'm not going to give a major overview of this film. This might be an unpopular opinion. I just don't think it's a good film. It just feels very like nothing. It's a long film for what actually happens. I will never watch this film again because to me, I don't feel the need to see it again. I do have points for this film, and the only point I wrote down is boring as fuck. So if that doesn't tell you what I think of this film, then yeah. Next up on the list, we've got the film Headless. Now, Headless is actually like a prequel to the film Found. In the film Found, we see a 12-year-old boy who discovers his older brother is a serial killer.
What the fuck are you doing?
And the older brother in that film has an old VHS film called Headless. He basically copies the crimes and violence in there in real life. And because of how much like a cult classic Found was, they basically made a prequel of the film that the kid watches in Found. They made the film of it, pretty much, if that makes sense. The problem is, Found is a half about film. Headless isn't at all. It's basically just a brutal fucked up film. And that's all I can say. It gets to a point where there's things in these films that just don't need to be in there. And there's one scene where the guy basically, I don't know if I can say this on YouTube, but it completely mutilates this one girl. You've got this little kid in like a skull mask just stood watching. It's like a nice little father-son day out. It is so weird. That is one scene from a film that has genuinely stuck in my head. Now, for second to last, staying on the topic of completely fucked up disturbing films, we've got August Underground. You've probably all heard. I don't need to say much. You're watching two guys go about and kidnap people, take people back to their like fucking lair. I can't really explain this film without getting banned. And that's exactly what I wrote in my notes. It feels so much like you are literally watching these two people go out and enjoy their day, enjoy their lives while doing all this stuff. When you know it's fake, when you know it's not real, I can watch it fine. August Underground feels too real. I watched it to say I've watched it. Will I ever watch it again? Will I fuck? Now, the final film is actually a film that I love. I really do enjoy this film. It's just very dark. Again, it's a very feel-bad film. This is a really underrated film. It's a French horror found footage film, and it's called Descent into Darkness. The film is about this guy. I don't know how to pronounce his name, so I'm not going to try it. But his dream is to go to Paris and record a documentary of basically him showing the like European dream.
So here we are.
He wants to go and live that. He wants to go and document it. And the film starts off really nice. It starts off really hopeful. He's going around, he's getting invited to places, he's going to meeting locals. Over time, things start going downhill. He runs out of money, starts doing like heavy drugs and becomes homeless. He really did experience every part of the European dream. As this all happens, he completely starts losing his sanity. And we witness that through the entire film. And I honestly think that is the most uncomfortable part of this film, because you literally see every single part of it, and it goes from him being the most likable character to the most evil human being, and you see every part of it. On top of all that, there are two scenes at the very end of the film. This film has got a very dark ending. There are two scenes in like the final sequence, which is a bit of a like home invasion scene, and it's him taking over a family's life again, so you can already imagine that just gets depressing. But there's the shed scene, and there is the baby scene. The baby scene, you don't see anything, and the shed scene, you don't actually see anything. But what you do see is the family see their two kids get taken away from them in the most brutal ways possible. Other than that, this film is great, but the ending ruined my entire month. So yeah, if you feel like watching any of them films, do so at your own risk. I will say that some of them are good films, other than Tusk. So, the film starts off where we meet our first main character, Aaron. And Aaron's like an aspiring videographer. He got paid on like Craigslist or something to go to this guy's house in like a cabin. It should have been kind of red flag already. He literally drove up to this cabin. And this is where we meet the man of the hour, Joseph. From the first interaction with this guy, I'm sorry, he's overly friendly. Like, that should be already a warning sign.